All right, let me do an audio check here real quick. Audio check, 1 2 1 2. All's good. We're gonna get right into it. It's a late start today, but late is still good. Late is still happening. Let's see here. I'm gonna refresh the page. All right, as usual, we'll be reading articles today from this week's published articles by liberationnews.org. Let's see. It's the 19th. Looks like it's been a slow week for Liberation News. Let's try latest. See if there's any new. All right, it doesn't actually seem like there's been any releases this week, so this might be a short week. Might have to try a different website. We read The Schools of Struggle. We read The Tyson Food. We read NewsClick found their premiere. We read UAW. All right. So this is the only latest one. Attempted coup. Let's see. This might be a thick one. All right. So it's a short article. So we'll take our time with this one today. Article headline, Attempted coup, U.S. mercenaries captured as Congo political crisis takes new twist. All right. This one was written by Deja Gaston, May 25th. All right, so the photo is of forces of the United Congolese Party with the flag of the former Zaire, ruled by pro-West dictator Joseph Desire Mobutu. Let's go along here. All right. On Sunday, May 19th, Republican Guard forces in the Gombe district of the capital city, Kinshasa, circumvented failed attacks on the residence of Vital Kamerhe, Deputy Prime Minister of Economy and head of the Union for the Congolese Nation, UNC, by some 20 soldiers identifying themselves as FARDC, Armed Forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo. After the failed attack, the FARDC soldiers fled inside the, quote, Palais de la Nation, end quote, the country's presidential palace, in an alleged coup attempt, which was quickly quelled by security forces in just a few hours. Among those arrested for the attempted coup, 3 were identified as U.S. citizens. The rapidly suppressed coup attempt by the group was by Christian Malanga, a U.S. citizen and founder of the United Congolese Party headquarters in Washington, D.C. Malanga was killed by security forces in the exchange of fire. Newsar and the right-wing pro-West United Congolese Party. A video released by the armed men who stormed Palais de la Nation depicts them sporting the old Zaire flag while chanting, quote, New Zaire, end quote. Zaire refers to the former name of the country under the rule of Joseph Desire Mobutu from 1971 until 1997. Mobutu is infamous for the complete privatization and plundering of the nation's resources, ballooning inflation, massive currency devaluations, total collapse of infrastructure, extreme embezzlement, and nepotism. He helped depose and assassinate Patrice Lumumba, anti-colonial, anti-imperialist, revolutionary, and democratically elected prime minister of the DRC at the behest of Belgium, the United States, and other Western powers in 1961. Christian Malanga has espoused building a new Zaire in the region characterized by further privatization and accumulation of Congolese wealth by foreign investors. The United Congolese Party itself is a pro-Western right-wing organization headed by Malanga. UCP has lobbied in Washington, D.C. to congressmen such as Peter King, far-right former chair of the House Committee on Homeland Security. Despite this backdrop, Christian Malanga's, quote, New Zaire movement in exile, end quote, is entirely self-proclaimed and rather unknown to the broader Congolese diaspora. DRC's ruling elite and opposition. In December 2023, Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi won re-election with more than 70% of the vote. Many opposition candidates and civil society groups contested the results, stating the elections were mired with several logistical issues. Protests called on by opposition groups were met with violent crackdowns by Congolese authorities after the Tshisekedi government banned anti-government protests. Since then, Tshisekedi has delayed installing a government by 5 months. It wasn't until after Sunday's attack that the National Assembly in the Democratic Republic of Congo elected Vital Kamerhe as speaker in a delayed vote. Kamerhe, in 2020, faced a sentence of 20 years in prison for embezzling $48 million, but was acquitted in 2022. The tempestuous political landscape of Congo raises many questions with regard to the viability of this attempted, quote, coup, end quote, which was swiftly stopped in its tracks. Although it was headed by Congolese-American Christian Malanga, some observers speculate that the coup may have been a false flag attack. Sunday's upheaval was defined by an ill-conceived execution, lack of clear objectives, and the government's rapid response. There are internal divisions among the ruling coalition alongside regional and international interests seeking to control the country's resources. Therefore, it is possible that motivations for this bold move include a bid for political power, the influence of foreign interests seeking to exploit Congo's natural resources, and an attempt to disrupt legitimate opposition movements to maintain the current government's control. Many activists fighting for the sovereignty of Congo see this situation as a move by Tshisekedi to further consolidate political power and stave off any opposition. As the situation unfolds, it is important to examine the motivations behind Malanga's foiled coup attempt and the historical context of foreign interference and manipulation of Congo's internal political affairs. This event highlights the precarious nature of Congo's political environment. For those engaged in anti-imperialist and internationalist movements, it is crucial to support the movements and organizations defending genuine change, stability, and complete sovereignty in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Popular protests inside the DRC led to changes such as the United Nations peacekeeping mission, MONUSCO, to withdraw approximately 2,000 UN soldiers from South Kivu. Popular discontent with Tshisekedi's government also propelled Dr. Denis Mukwege, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, into the presidential fray in 2023. Independent candidates such as Mukwege were met with a high degree of popularity among citizens because it was representative of the movement of the poor, working people, and peasants as a whole. The fighting against neocolonialism, paired with strong organizational footing, can provide hope for a long-term struggle to free the Congo from the shackles of exploitation and plunder. All right. So we obviously know the history about the Congo, right? They've been exploited. Their resources have totally been exploited. Their labor has totally been exploited. And these countries, like, this is why capitalism is so horrible. They don't care that people already know the history, that this is just capitalism at its worst, exploiting resources and labor from other nations or other countries. They just want to do it all over again. They don't. The revolution that ousted their last president wasn't enough. They totally want to just totally reclaim this land for Western imperialism, right? reclaim these resources. Um, it's nowadays it's such a mask off kind of moment. Like you can't even hide this, but like so many people are so unaware because they'll listen or watch to mainstream news stations that will totally frame the liberation movement as terrorists or wild gangs, right? Without ever getting to the genesis of why this happened in the Congo. Um, as leftists, we should always support movements that are organic, that come from the people directly, not movements that are orchestrated by imperialist uh, or corporations. Uh, in regards to this subject, this issue, of course, I am with the people of the Congo, and I am with whoever is willing to represent them, uh, as stated here. Uh, Candidates such as Mukwege or Mukwege, who were met with a high degree of popularity among citizens because it was representative of the movement of the poor, working people, and peasants as a whole. Uh, this is the kind of movement that America can't have, because at the moment, when you see people like Bernie Sanders, who totally took this movement and just sheep herded them into the Democratic Party, it was a total betrayal of socialism uh, as a whole for someone like Bernie to endorse Biden and endorse Hillary. If he was a serious socialist, what he would have done, he would have never gave that his list of donors or information to the Democratic Party. He would have started his own party or endorsed a legitimate candidate that would represent socialist initiatives or goals. For example, one of the main goals was for universal health care, which has totally been destroyed as an issue now in America, even though more than 70% of the American people support a form of universal health care. This is not even an issue that is mentioned or touched either by the squad or Democratic leftists or anybody running for that matter at this point. Um, this is an issue that uh, anybody that would fight for universal health care would easily uh, come to the forefront and get elected, and they still don't mention it. All they mention is affordable prices because the American psyche, we've been so brainwashed to think that it's just not possible for America to have what so many other countries already have, which is universal health care. Uh, Biden has said in national TV that he would reject universal health care, which should have been enough for him to not even for people to not even take him seriously enough. But we keep going with this lie of we have to save democracy, so we have to elect a Democratic Party. Get serious. This guy is like literally funding genocide at this point, right? And this is who the liberals decided that needed to save us from Trump. Um, Elections aren't going to save you from Trump. They're not going to save you from imperialism. They're not going to save you from the Western Empire. They're not going to save you from the ghoulishness of capitalism. What's going to save you is working class solidarity. When working people unite and they unionize and they strike, and when you working class people start electing working class candidates instead of these legacy elitists like Trump, Biden, or even RFK, which neither of them mention universal health care, but all of them are fully in support of sending Israel more money for more wars. Likely the same will be with Ukraine. Even though I think Ukraine is coming, the chapters for Ukraine are coming to the close. Ukraine is totally in shambles. No, it doesn't matter how they try to twist this. They're just squeezing the last few billions out of sending to Ukraine for the final war market, industrial war complex, the military industrial complex, right, for funding more arms and weapons deals. Um, but yeah, so in America, if you want to be represented, stop looking up at people that spit on you, like Trump, Biden, or RFK. Start looking next to you at your working class coworkers that are willing to take the torch and actually fight for you and uh, lead either as candidates or better yet as organizers, because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take to move uh, the politics to the left for better living wages, for better standards of living, for better housing, for better safeties. Um, you name it, all these that are far left issues that people for some reason think that are bad. Giving people universal health care sounds evil to you. The specter of communism. They're trying to feed everybody. Ooh, right? They're trying to give everybody decent jobs and a good life and housing. Ooh, scary. Anyways, so yeah, just going on a rant here, speaking a little my mind because this article is pretty short. Uh, I am into Stoicism, so I'd like to mention that and try to fit that into this here. Um, don't forget that a lot of these leaders and organizers, to be the kind of leaders and organizers for revolutions or for movements, really mentally strong people uh, with good intentions, right? Uh, and that is a big part of that is somewhat being a stoic in some ways, whether they practice it or not. They might practice it indirectly through other practices, but yeah, it's a way of maintaining your mind healthy, uh, positive, realistic, and staying humble and staying composed in times of adversity and challenges. Uh, the best the best debaters out there, for example, are Stoic debaters because they can debate without getting emotional and just lay out the facts uh, in a very educative manner. Uh, you'll notice that a lot with the best debaters. Even someone like Claudia de la Cruz, I notice she's such a great intellectual to listen to speak because she articulates things very clearly and you can understand what she's saying, and she gets her message across without freaking out and losing her composure. Uh, you know, it would be great to see her again in another debate with someone like Jill Stein, and finally perhaps RFK can join if he ever develops uh, the valor, the strength to actually debate real people that actually have smart things, intellectual things to say about the failures of our system. Um, Him trying to debate someone like Trump or Biden is a waste of time. I don't see why anyone would want to watch Trump and Biden debate unless you're there to get some cheap laughs at their expense. But yeah, you're not going to get anything legitimate out of them. They're not going to speak the truth. Trump speaks half truths as well as Biden, and they try to make it look like they're representing the people. They're not. They're legacy candidates. They're out there to represent the oligarchy, the people that pay them, the people that can make them the most money. It's the same with RFK. I don't trust him. Why? Why would I? He already said he's a 100% Zionist. So, uh, and I'm not for supporting anyone that supports genocide. Period. Point blank. Uh, so those are my thoughts so far. The only ones that I'm taking seriously for a vote is Joe Stein and Claudia de la Cruz. Uh, Hopefully, one of them is on the ballot in my state of Massachusetts this general election. Uh, yeah, and we'll see what other great candidates are available. Socialist or far left candidates are available this fall. But honestly, my litmus test is if your candidate isn't for universal health care unapologetically and living wages, I'm not even gonna bother. It's like a no brainer, no point. you know, yeah. It's about having ideals and being strong with what the line in the sand is. when you support people, and that's my line in the sand. If you're not for universal health care, I'm not with you, period. Okay, so keeping it short today. Everybody have a great evening. Let's see, I'm going to do a refresher here to see if there's any more articles for today. Looks like there isn't. Isn't. Watch all of them dump tomorrow or something, and then I'll have a bunch of articles tomorrow. But I won't read them till Sunday. So, all right. I'm interested to all eyes on the Congo, though. It's important. It's as important as everything else around the world, where we need working class solidarity with the Palestinians, with Jewish people that support Palestinians. They're anti-Zionist project, with the working class people in Russia and Ukraine that don't want this war, that think that this war should have been settled before it even started, with the working class in America that think we shouldn't be funding wars anywhere. Instead, we should be funding rebuilding our infrastructure here and giving people all that work so they can rebuild and self-sustain. If anything, that's the kind of nationalist America should be, socialist nationalist, and be an example to the rest of the world in a positive manner. If America wants to send billions abroad, it should send it for aid and for medicine, not for more tanks and nukes that blow up kids so that other people can put up a condominium or a beachfront resort. That's just cruel. It's disgusting. Okay. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. And that is it for today. Goodbye.